Hey, Mark here from Whole Latte Love. I have Danilo Lodi. He's a brand ambassador with Dalla Corte, and we have the Dalla Corte Mina here, and you're going to take us through, right?
Exactly.
And so what can you do with the Mina? Now I've got it's an app-controlled machine,
Exactly.
right? And flow profiling, tell us about that.
Exactly. Like this machine, you can control throughout the app the flow profile in 5 stages. So you can control grams per second and send to the machine exactly how many grams you want, how many seconds in 5 stages. With that, you can control a little bit better the outcome in a cup. And it doesn't matter if you're a roaster or if you're working in a lab, coffee shop, or even for your home.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you can dial in different coffees or even the same coffee differently with the flow profile.
Now I got to say, we were at George Howell's Coffee in Boston. If you don't know
Yes.
George, he's like been doing specialty
Legend.
coffee. He's a legend. And you were able to pull things from this machine out of one of his Kenyan coffees that he's never tasted before.
Exactly. Like he gave me the high acidity coffee, freshly roasted, and I was able to pull a shot with the flow profile that he really loves it. And that's why the machine is now there in the main store, pulling the best coffees that he has right now.
Nice. So we'll go through the machine. We're going to show you how it works, show you how the app works, show you capabilities like the milk control system and a lot of other things. So let's get into that. All right, Danilo, take us through a little demo here. We're going to do it without coffee so we can see what happens
Yeah,
first,
exactly.
right?
So
and then we'll go further.
for you to understand how the flow works, for example, now I have in manual here, and I'm just going to pull like the first step, which if I look at over here, is around 2 grams per second. See, almost dripping, very slow. Let's say that I want to change that, and just go here on the step that I want to change, and I increase the flow, send to the machine.
And you see it happen right away.
Exactly. So what I do is, like, after I create the 5 steps that I want to, I send to the machine, and then I press the plus saving, and I create a new file with the name that I want and even a description that I want.
Okay.
Then I want to go, for example, to my library, my profiles. I'm going to put the Whole Latte Love profile.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then here, changing here to the setting that I have,
Okay.
I'm just going to have the profile that I can even follow on my home screen. Seconds that is coming out, the real flow resistance over here, temperature, and how it's going through every step that I pre-program it over here. And it's going to stop automatically as soon as you reach the volume that I pre-programmed before.
We definitely got a flow meter in there, so we're measuring what's
Exactly.
ending up in our cup, so it's
See?
automatic. But
Exactly.
now you can also run the machine, kind of totally manually, right?
Exactly. Like if I want to, I don't need to go just with a volumetric over here. Look, if I change the selection to manual, and even it's going to show on my phone, I can go step by step, and it will follow here and in the phone
And it's
which
giving me
step
a
that I
reading
am.
of grams per second.
I
there.
can go up, I can go down, and I stop whenever I want to. Just by
So if I'm
putting the
familiar
lever
with
up.
like a paddle machine where I'm chasing pressures around, this is a little more accurate, right?
Yeah, that's a little bit more accurate because it show you like in real time how many grams per second you're putting on the coffee cake.
So take us how you would approach a coffee. You have one here. What do you have, and how do you approach that with a flow profile?
This is a coffee from Mexico, Estelar coffee, great coffee, but high acidity, light roasted coffee. How I'm going to approach that? I already have a profile over here when I go very gentle at the beginning of the extraction with 2 grams per second for 5 seconds. And then I start building up this pressure slowly.
And just to give me an idea, a typical espresso machine what are the grams per second?
It's around 10 grams per second.
So this is a huge
yeah,
difference.
Very different, very different. Like, look at here, and it's going to start building the pressure very slowly inside the portafilter. That's the pressure of the resistance of the cake. See, it's building very slowly because now I'm increasing the flow, but it never reached 9 bar. Although the pump is 9 bar, the coffee resistance is not a 9 bar. And after that, I go down again, so I don't have a lot of bitter compounds in my cup. And with that, I'm gonna have like a better extraction, stop by itself, and with the lower acidity and higher sweetness.
So how would you approach, say, a darker roasted coffee or
I do
coffee
the other
that's
way
a little
around.
older?
Yeah, well, I do the other way around. I go very high, very fast. Like for 3 seconds, I go for 10 grams per second, for example, and then I go down. Because again, when the coffee is getting older, and also when the coffee is dark, it has a lot of bitter compounds, and I don't want to extract that to the cup. So I'm going to extract at the beginning the maximum that I want, and then at the end, slowing down so I can not have those bitter compounds or old oxidized flavors in the cup.
So when you're working with a coffee, then you might work with a flow a little bit and see what's working and come up with some general idea of where you should go.
Yeah, sure. Like you normally go from the pre-infusion if you want it faster or slow, and then after that, every step of the way you can tune in depending on the coffee you have.
All right. So we took a look at the profiles in the app and how that works, just generally. But what else can you do in the app there?
Oh, everything. Like you can control the machine in settings, for example. You can put energy life settings, daylight savings, date and time, but the most important thing, you can control the temperature of the group head and the main boiler. So I go here in the temperature and I go up and down for whatever I want to, set. Same thing for the milk control system. If I want to increase or decrease the temperature of the milk control system that is auto-steaming my milk, I just change it over here, see if it's yellow, I send to the machine, it's already received, and it's already going to change automatically. So the next shot that I'm doing is already going to be in the new temperature that I set it.
So we haven't talked about the milk control system yet, but we're going to get there,
We
right?
will.
This is auto frothing to latte art quality pretty much
Exactly.
to a preset temperature.
And everything can be controlled by the app.
Let's go over the steaming on the Mina. So you definitely have your regular standard manual on, but something pretty cool over here. What's that?
Yeah, that's the milk control system. So you can program the temperature that you want in the app. And then after that, you have this selection button that you just go here, you put, if you want to, the milk that you want. This probe will measure the temperature, and then it's going to rotate and create the perfect milk for latte art, for lattes, cappuccinos, and flat white with just the press of the button.
And it's doing its thing there.
Yeah.
So this is a no skill required, because we
No,
got
exactly. It will stop in the temperature that you program, and you're going to finish by itself.
And of course you can be brewing while this is happening.
I just go back here and I start brewing the coffee that I want to.
And
Period.
Your milk's done, doesn't matter when you start or stop either
No.
one of those.
And I have a really great quality milk here.
Nice. Danilo, you were telling me a story. You teach a lot of barista classes.
Yes,
and
I do.
You have the Mina there, and you have a pressure profiling machine. Tell me what happens at the end of the classes.
Yeah, like for example, the past 3 years since I got my Mina, teaching classes, and I need to teach everyone about different systems, not only Della Corte systems. So when I teach a barista class or even a roasting class, when I'm trying some espressos, I let the students make shots in both machines, a pressure profile and a flow profile machine, that is the Mina. And at the end of the class, like after 4 days class, the last day, I let them do a demonstration and dial in a coffee, but they need to choose which machine they would prefer. And 10 out of 10 baristas normally goes after testing a lot with the flow profile machine. And well, that's how I got, for example, distributors in different countries. Like they got so emotional and connected and satisfied with the result. They're like, you know what? I'm going to represent this brand in my country.
All right. And so, there's a lot of confusion out there about what's the difference between, the flow profiling is pretty unique to the Mina,
Yes.
right? What's the difference between flow profiling and pressure profiling?
So in the flow profile, we have a digital flow regulator that will regulate in grams per second how much water is coming out in a steady pressure. It's always 9 bar or 8, whatever you're going to put it in. But what it's going to change is how rapidly you're going to fill the chamber. When you're changing the pressure with a pressure profile machine, you also are changing the flow. So you don't have this accuracy with both things. So you're changing two variables at the same time. Meanwhile here, pressure is consistent, flow changes 5 times throughout the whole extraction. With that, you can have a more depth extraction and a little bit more detail in every part of the extraction.
And it's also going to give you a lot of consistency, right?
Exactly.
And that's,
when you can measure grams per second with the accuracy of half gram, so I can put 5.5 grams per second, then 6, and then 7.5 grams per second, that gives you a lot of precision for the steps of the extraction.
All right, and let's finish up here by talking about Who is the Mina really intended for? We hit upon it at the start again, but high-end home use?
High-end home use. I see a lot of coffee shops using the Mina as well. I see a lot of home users. Labs that roast their own coffee, like people that are into roasting coffee so they can taste their coffee fresh. Older producing countries are also using a lot in their farms. Okay. And also catering business, because it's a machine that you can just plug in the water and just roll it.
And you can just brew after brew.
Exactly.
No issue. I mean,
no
the
issue.
group here is really something else.
It's solid. That's like, it looks small, it looks a home machine, but it's really heavy and a lot of technology inside. So it can be used in a professional setting, in a coffee shop, and it takes a lot of shots in the same day.
All right, Danilo, thanks so much for taking us through a little bit of the Mina. If you're interested, it is available now at Whole Latte Love.
Oh, yeah.
And we've got a lot more information about it, so do check that out. I'm Mark, and Danilo, thanks again. Thanks you guys for watching, and please come on back soon for more of the best on everything coffee, brought to you by Whole Latte Love. Want to learn more? Subscribe now so you'll know about the latest videos on everything coffee from Whole Latte Love.